Hello, and welcome to the Daily Drone Show. Today's stories include laser communications, testing waypoint flying for residential inspections, and the operational rule for flying over people. It's October 18th, 2021, and today in the news, we're talking about the world's first industrialized optical communications terminal for airborne applications. What that means is that's the first demonstration of an industrialized optical communications terminal for airborne applications. It's communication. So it's an airborne laser communication between the ground and a mounted in the fuselage payload bay of a drone, and it demonstrates air-to-ground links. The setup was recently cleared for flight by NASA, and it has got all the relevant regulatory aviation authorities' approval. The laser communication links in the air is in as many dimensions a lot harder than in space because of the aircraft's movements and the atmospheric conditions. The ability to transfer large quantities of data very quickly and securely is something that's really sought after. So this offers real solutions for air-to-air connectivity. It's suited for manned and unmanned aircraft, and it can go as high as altitudes of 50,000 feet for long endurances. Well, it's time to build. If you love construction and drones, then we have something for you. We filmed the construction of a residential home from both the ground and the air over a 10-month period. So let's see what's happening today. Today's episode is episode 10, Waypoints. I kept testing the waypoint a number of times in the morning. I wanted to make sure that the flight path did not cross over any of the workers when they were on the site. But as the framing began, the rain started and I could not fly. The workers continued to work in the rain, putting up the basement framing. I actually had to wait until the afternoon to be able to put the drone up into the sky again. With most of the framing of the basement completed, it was kind of frustrating. I was wondering, it was so rapid in framing the basement, how rapid would the rest of the house get done? But I had to continue to remind myself I was not going to get worried or upset about what I couldn't get. I was just going to worry about what I could. I was amazed that the overhead view of the site showed that the framing corresponded to the plans, and the initial framing went up so quickly. I was told it would be at least 3 weeks, but I was having a hard time believing it. I took the opportunities when nobody was on site to practice flying and filming. I got to put together a shot checklist. I began to test tilt to reveals, flyovers, and point of interest shots. I was also experimenting with the camera movement. The muscle memory required to fly and film at the same time was challenging, but every time I got the drone up in the air, I was getting better and better. After the delivery, it was early evening and the workers showed up to begin installing the trusses. They started with the garage first. Well, today is Monday, and that means it's time to talk about an operational rule. Today we're going to talk about flying over people. Now, do not fly directly over people. This rule applies to flying over anyone that is not directly involved in the drone operation. Now, the recent recurrent training does not give remote pilots permission to operate drones for commercial use over people. The compliance to that rule cannot happen until we have a radio frequency designated for remote identification. So, never fly over groups of people unless they are otherwise part of your operation. And if you're flying over a structure, you need to look at that structure as being fully occupied and make the necessary precautions. It's recommended that persons in the immediate area not involved in the operation of the drone be notified of the operation. Now, the rule doesn't specify a safe distance away from people, but a safe distance is really one that's considered that if the drone were to get into an emergency situation, it would not pose a risk to individuals or property. Because if the FAA has to investigate, one of the first questions is going to be, what safety procedures did you put into place to mitigate the risk? Well, thanks for watching the Daily Drone Show. Be sure to sign up to get more cool content. And on behalf of all of us at Drone Education Services, fly safe, fly often, and have fun.